Well, comes the weekend, comes Michael Snyder. We go out to the other coast of the United States and check in with him to see what's happening with movies. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Alex, and hello, everyone else. Happy to have you on board. We do have some new movies to discuss. Let's get right to it. We'll kick things off with The Happy Time Murders. Relentlessly raucous, gross in an infantile way, and suffering from more than a few half-baked ideas and gaping plot holes, The Happy Time Murders kind of hopes that shock value, puppets, cursing, screwing, doing drugs, etc., in a world where sentient puppets exist as an underclass of second-class citizens to humans, will carry the day. But I like The Happy Time Murders better the first time when it was called Meet the Feebles. That's right. This totally calls to mind Peter Jackson's pre-Frighteners, pre-Beautiful Creatures, pre-Lord of the Rings, X-rated puppet movie.
Sounds to me more like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Well, thanks. I'll be getting to that. It does have that going on. But if you've seen Meet the Feebles, this whole idea of Muppet-style puppets in gross-out circumstances is being repeated here in The Happy Time Murders. Only Meet the Feebles was grosser and funnier and more original than this. So the idea is intriguing. I mean, you have an R-rated Muppets film noir type thing, and I love film noir, and this stars Melissa McCarthy as a hard-edged human police detective who's forced to team up with her former police partner, a puppet now reduced to private investigation, kind of a felt Philip Marlowe, when the stars of a beloved puppet TV show that's been off the air for a while start getting bumped off. And it's the work of director Brian Henson, Muppet creator Jim Henson's son, and the puppets are designed by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, source for all things Muppet and Sesame Street, but it just isn't funny enough. And now that I think about it, yeah, the whole fantastical LA set film noir thing about a marginalized group in conflict with the man was done so much better than this in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, with cartoon characters and the subset having to interact and deal with humans instead of puppets. You know, I had hopes for this thing, and in fact, you know, the humans deliver pretty well. You've got Elizabeth Banks, Joel McHale, Jimmy O. Yang, Leslie Baker from The Office. They're all, you know, kind of delivering, but it just does not work. And you know, if you're going to go low, make sure the comedy is high. Let's put it that way. The Happy Time Murders, I don't know, maybe you want to watch it for 20 minutes on cable at some point. I wouldn't go see it. Searching is a lot better, and it could have been terrible. I really enjoyed the hell out of Searching. It's a mystery that's set up and revealed entirely on computer screen. Everything you see on the big screen is seen on a computer screen, and this could have been terrible. But, oh my God, it worked like gangbusters. There have been other attempts to do this, particularly the unfriended horror movies, but this is way above those efforts, with a real sense of dread and jeopardy, enhanced by John Cho's lead performance as David, who's a San Jose area single dad, and he finds his teenage daughter has unexpectedly gone missing. Deborah Messing is unrecognizable as the police detective who's on the case and has to deal with David's fears, frantic reactions, and amateur online sleuthing as he tries to make sense of and figure out the disappearance of his normal, wholesome daughter. From all the evidence, a good student and a loving child. I mean, kudos to director and co-writer Anish Jagenti. To tell you more about the film would probably undercut some of the revelations, but man, it worked, and I really appreciated it. And of course, oddly enough, this is a movie that'll work well on your laptop. But, you know, if you want to support a really clever mystery done in a very fresh and original fashion, go see Searching. Moving on to the next on our list, we have a little something called Papillon. And if that sounds familiar, it's called Papillon because it's a remake of the 1973 movie that starred Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman as two French criminals a safecracker named Henri, nicknamed Papillon, which is French for butterfly, and a counterfeiter named Louis, who are busted. And in 1933, they're shipped to a horrific penal colony off the coast of South America. This is based on the autobiography of Henri Papillon Charrière, and this new version, which benefits from modern filmmaking techniques, doesn't quite match the power of the original movie's screenplay by really decorated guys, Dalton Trumbo and Lorenzo Semple Jr., but it still works like gangbusters itself. In this version, Henri is played by a very buff Charlie Hunnam, best known for the badass biker TV series Sons of Anarchy, and Louis is played by Rami Malek, star of the cyber thriller series Mr. Robot. They ain't McQueen and Hoffman, but they're damn good. And the story, even retold here, is still a fascinating, wrenching, and remarkable one. So, you know what? This is worth checking out. Directed by Michael Noor, written by Aaron Guzikowski. Papillon won't drive the memory of the original one out of your head, but it still does a great job of telling a really amazing and compelling story. Okay, compelling, that's not the word I'd use about The Bookshop. It's a little tweedy and pokey. It's based on Penelope Fitzgerald's well-regarded novel of the same name, but nonetheless, it has its charms. It's set during 1959 in a seaside British town. I mean, there must be a million of them, and this one isn't Broadchurch, nor the one from last week's rom-com release, Juliet Naked, but it follows the progress of Florence Green, a middle-aged, fairly attractive, unpretentious, educated widow, played by Emily Mortimer in her comfort zone, who was determined to open a bookstore in an abandoned, rundown house that a local aristocrat type, played by the wonderful Patricia Clarkson, wants to convert into a local arts center. Thus, we have conflict. And thankfully for Florence's character, another local, a bookish recluse played by the great character actor Bill Nighy, is on her side. In fact, some trademark Nighy moments, spotlighting his sly and dry delivery, had me smiling with actual glee. Of course, you root for Florence throughout, but that's expected considering the appeal of Emily Mortimer, who is so perfect on The Newsroom and Doll and M, and so ideal for a period role like this, a woman struggling to assert herself at a time when independent women, especially those of middling means, struggled with the status quo. I mean, this has a little masterpiece theatery vibe about it. Again, this might work well on television. It's sweet, it's well-meaning. Isabel Coxette was the director and writer, but, I guess maybe this kind of thing is an acquired taste. Finally, we will wrap up quickly with Support the Girls, a fun, gritty, working class, and more realistic Coyote Ugly. Support the Girls delves into the relationships and the struggles and the comedy and tragedy of life at Double Whammies, a low-rent roadside Hooters knockoff sports bar in the New South. Regina Hall is just right as the manager and mother hen of the joint, wrangling the waitresses and the rest of the crew, dealing with their problems and personal soap operas, putting out fires and trying to keep her own life together, even as she faces the daily challenges, small victories, and various heartbreaks. She's fantastic. And meanwhile, potential job opportunities may lure her away from her girls. Great and memorable supporting roles help the cause too here. Haley Lou Richardson, Brooklyn Decker as a couple of the girls, James LeGros as the manager, and San Francisco lesbian comedian turned Broadway musical dynamo Lee Delaria all come through here. As low-budget slice-of-life comedies go, I think this one deserves your support. Written and directed by Andrew Bujalski. What do you got, buddy?
Nothing really. Just reporting that Castle Rock doesn't get any better. So, yeah. But outside of that, nothing. So, in the meantime, why don't you tell them where they can find you, okay?
Sure. On Twitter, I'm at Culture Blaster, and on Facebook, it's Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page. You can revisit our little tete-a-tetes, those between me and Alex, and be back here next week, hopefully for more reviews.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And for those of you listening to us 24/7, there's more GABNet coming right up.